About 70% of the guitar work on that album doesn't even sound like a guitar. It sounds like some kind of strange keyboard or experimental instrument. In the intricate world of progressive rock, few guitarists have earned the kind of respect Alex Lifeson has. The Rush mastermind wasn't just a musical genius who helped shape progressive rock for over 4 decades. He was a relentless perfectionist, a man whose artistic standards were so high that mediocrity, laziness, or lack of discipline in guitar playing made his blood boil. Lifeson wasn't simply a great guitarist. He was a musical purist, someone who believed that the guitar was a sacred tool for innovation, creativity, and continuous learning. But behind his polite Canadian charm was a man who had little patience for musicians he considered careless, anti-intellectual, or resistant to growth. Today on Legend Uncovered, we dive deep into the 6 guitarists who reportedly drove Alex Lifeson crazy. Artists whose approach to music clashed head-on with his belief in progress, technique, and artistry.
Number 6, Kurt Cobain. Coming in at number 6 is perhaps the most surprising name on this list, Kurt Cobain. The Nirvana frontman and reluctant voice of Generation X represented everything that frustrated Lifeson about the changing tides of rock. When grunge exploded in the early 1990s, it did so as a rebellion against the polished, technically complex music of the 80s. According to music journalist Michael Azerrad, Lifeson once remarked that Kurt represents everything wrong with rock's anti-intellectual movement. He's made musical incompetence into a virtue and convinced a generation that learning your instrument is somehow selling out. What truly infuriated Lifeson was Cobain's minimalistic approach, the so-called 3-chord therapy sessions that celebrated emotion over technical skill. While Lifeson spent decades perfecting intricate chord progressions, shifting time signatures, and advanced compositions, Cobain was becoming a global icon by rejecting all of it at a 1993 industry gathering where grunge was celebrated and progressive rock dismissed as outdated. Witnesses say Lifeson was visibly upset, muttering, "They're celebrating the death of musical ambition and calling it authenticity." For Lifeson, Cobain symbolized the ultimate musical regression, what he allegedly described as willful ignorance disguised as artistic integrity. Number 5, The Edge, U2. Next, at number 5, we find a clash between pure musicianship and technological experimentation. The Edge, the legendary guitarist of U2, known for his shimmering soundscapes and heavy use of effects, The Edge became a defining voice of 1980s rock. But to Alex Lifeson, that style represented everything wrong with modern guitar culture. According to Guitar Player magazine editor Yaz Orek, Lifeson once complained, "The Edge hides behind effects, pedals, and studio tricks instead of actually learning to play guitar properly. Real innovation comes from technique and composition, not from how many delay units you can chain together." To Lifeson, The Edge's approach was the triumph of technology over talent, a world where pedal boards replaced practice and atmosphere replaced mastery. Their tension reportedly peaked during a guitar clinic where both appeared. Witnesses claim Lifeson made pointed comments about players who confuse sound design with actual playing, creating an awkward atmosphere when The Edge's entire session focused on effects rather than pure technique. In Lifeson's mind, The Edge represented button pushing for people who don't want to practice scales. Number 4, Malcolm Young, AC/DC. Crashing into number 4 is Malcolm Young, the rhythm powerhouse behind AC/DC. While millions loved Malcolm's punchy, no-frills rhythm style, Lifeson allegedly saw it as the very definition of musical stagnation. According to rock journalist Murray Engelhart, Lifeson once said, "Malcolm's made musical limitation into a bloody religion. He's proud of playing the same 3 chords for 30 years when guitar playing should be about constant growth and exploration." For Lifeson, rock music wasn't about simplicity, it was about progress. While he was experimenting with jazz fusion, classical ideas, and complex structures, AC/DC was thriving with what he reportedly called caveman rock. At an award ceremony in the 1980s, where AC/DC's sound was praised as pure rock, Lifeson was allegedly disgusted, telling his manager, "They're celebrating musical stagnation and calling it purity." To him, Malcolm Young represented rock's refusal to evolve, a musician who turned simplicity into what Lifeson called a badge of honor for people afraid of artistic challenge. Number 3, Johnny Ramone. Sliding into number 3 is Johnny Ramone, punk legend and rhythm guitarist for the Ramones. Punk rock's raw energy and deliberate simplicity were everything Lifeson stood against. According to punk historian Legs McNeil, Lifeson once commented that Johnny turned musical incompetence into a movement. He's proud of not knowing how to play properly when guitar should be about constant learning and pushing boundaries. While Lifeson spent years blending classical precision and jazz experimentation, the Ramones built their success on 3-chord anthems that rejected sophistication completely. At a 1977 music conference, where punk's rebellion was celebrated, Lifeson reportedly made sharp remarks about musicians who confuse rebellion with incompetence. It caused clear tension when Ramone's name came up as a symbol of authentic rock. For Lifeson, Johnny Ramone embodied what he called organized musical ignorance, a deliberate celebration of not trying to improve. Number 2, Slash, Guns N' Roses. At number 2 is Slash, Guns N' Roses' top-hat-wearing blues rock icon. When Slash stormed into the 1980s rock scene, he revived a traditional blues-driven sound that millions adored. But Lifeson reportedly saw it as backward. According to Guitar World editor Brad Tolinski, Lifeson told peers, "Slash is playing the same blues licks that were tired 20 years ago, and everyone calls him innovative." Real guitar evolution means moving forward, not retreating into classic rock museum pieces. Slash's reliance on old-school pentatonic licks drove Lifeson nuts. To him, it was musical comfort food, safe, nostalgic, and unadventurous. When Slash dismissed progressive rock as pretentious wankery in a 1988 interview, Lifeson was reportedly furious. He allegedly responded, "Some guitarists prefer nostalgia to innovation because learning new things actually takes effort." For Lifeson, Slash symbolized the 1980s obsession with image and imitation, what he called blues rock karaoke for those afraid of artistic growth. Number 1, Angus Young, AC/DC. And finally, at number 1, the guitarist who reportedly angered Lifeson the most, Angus Young of AC/DC. To millions, Angus is a rock icon, but to Alex Lifeson, he was the face of everything wrong with the guitar's artistic decline. According to rock journalist Clinton Walker, Lifeson once said, "Angus has turned musical imitation into a bloody circus act. He's made ignorance entertaining and convinced people that refusing to grow as a musician is somehow authentic." The tension deepened when Angus dismissed progressive rock as music for people who think too much. Insiders say Lifeson took it personally, telling close friends, "Angus made a career out of celebrating everything wrong with rock guitar. He's turned musical stagnation into entertainment for people afraid of challenge." For Lifeson, Angus Young wasn't just a rival. He was the symbol of rock's anti-intellectual side, the part of the industry that rejected artistry in favor of simplicity and spectacle.
Please don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon.